One.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Reset to Healthier Relationship, Sunday nights at 9. I am Coach Glenda here with Mr. Carpenter, my managing partner. Tonight, we are on part 3 of this amazing topic that has really hit home with a lot of our participants that have been joining us on every Sunday night here for the past, I'll say, consecutively 2 Sundays in a row. And we did have a break in the beginning when we first brought the topic out. Someone said that we needed to address it a little bit more in detail. So we brought it back for part 2 and part 3. So we thank you as always for your feedback and your suggestions on topic discussions. As you all well know, that we create a safe and open space for women to discuss relationships, whether married, unmarried, or navigating complicated dynamics. This forum is about finding clarity and empowerment. We believe relationships should serve you and help you grow and bring out the best in you. Our focus is understanding how relationships impact us, our children, particularly our children, and how we can reset to healthier patterns that support our well-being. As I stated before, I am Coach Glenda. I am going to let my co-host introduce himself and tell you a little bit about his background.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Glad to have you here because without you, we don't have a show. So you're here and we're ready to do what we need to do. Once again, the framework is that we come together every Sunday night at 9. And this is where 20 of you and your girlfriends are in the living room and, you break out a bottle of wine or soda or whatever your drink of pleasure is. And then we talk about relationship subjects. Again, my name is Rufus Carpenter. I come to this space a little different than most. My background started as a young kid in a family of 14 in a 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. And if you know anything about sharing a bed with 4 of your siblings and one is an occasional bedwetter, you quickly understand what it is to understand the essence of human connection. My story didn't stop there. I was married 27 years to the same lady. And in that time, I got a chance to understand communication, trust, fidelity, and compromise. These are not just necessarily things for a great relationship, but these are the things for that human relationship and connection and bond. Okay. Story didn't stop there. Also, I joined the United States Army and I did a career in the military. And one of my jobs in the military was human relation, race relation, NCO, and leader, where I had a responsibility of going and investigating any relationship or racial issues in our units. And I would be the first one on the scene. And I do what's called an intake form. An intake form is my chance to assess what level of responsibility or what resources we're to throw at solving that problem. Because it's relationships, if you're not communicating and being civil, it's very hard to function as a military unit. So, and also tonight, I'm the male representative tonight, so I bring the male perspective, which I think I'm very qualified to do. So we're going to have fun. The topic and I'll let Glenda tell you the topic, but we've had this topic tossed around about 3 weeks. This is the 3rd week, and I think we're just scratching the surface of it. So this is a good topic. So Glenda, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get it started.
Okay, well, the topic for this evening is, yes, it's true, children are affected by their parents' relationships. In our last discussion, we agreed that children are indeed affected by their parents' relationships, but we didn't go deep enough into how we can positively influence these dynamics. This week, we want to dive further. Let's explore strategies to manage complex relationships, such as, now we have 3 key points we're going to discuss tonight. Dealing with different parenting styles, navigating family decisions, and promoting healthy male development. Okay, we're going to kick it off with our first key topic is dealing with different parenting styles. Understanding the impact of how different parental figures, biological or step parents, affect children's well-being. So, Mr. Carpenter, I'm gonna let you kick that one off.
Okay, when you talk about parenting styles, a lot of times, who's the disciplinarian in the family? Is it the husband or is it the wife? Who makes the policies when it comes to going on trips for the family? Is it the kids decide the trips, or is it the husband decide the trips, or is it the wife decide the trips? You have to determine who has responsibility at the certain times in a relationship. A lot of times, we say that the husband or the father or the male is the head of the household and that he dictates what happens. But in today's world, maybe not so. Everybody have a voice and a seat at the table. So when you're dealing with your regular kids, your biological kids, sometimes it seems like it's easier because the bond has been established since they were kids and youth, and they kind of go along with what you say. And you might have one or two rowdy children that want their own way, because some kids find themselves early. My parents used to say smell themselves. That's what my mom and dad used to say. And they get to decide what they want to do. But when you start putting in other stepchildren or bonus children or people that you might have adopted, or someone, or you might have a sister or auntie that had a problem, you had taken their child in your household, so it becomes a little different dynamic. So that's what we want to talk about tonight. We want to start out with that. How do you handle that? How do you handle the children? How do you make decisions, the day-to-day, the schooling, the religion, what type of activities they do, how much freedom do you give, how much freedom do you don't give, or how do you discipline, how do you handle conflicts in that arena? So let's open it up. We want to hear your comments on it tonight, because it's very important that we all get a chance to say this, because we come from a different backgrounds. As I look at the audience, we have people from Virginia, we have people from let me see if I can throw some of the places. We have people from Alabama, we have people from Detroit. Hey, I see Coach Liz. Hey, how you up there, Coach Liz? So we have people from all over. We have people from Connecticut. We have people from New York. So with all this diversity, let's talk about it. How do you do that? Oh, we got somebody. I'm sorry, I forgot about Florida. Hi, Ramona. How you doing? And so we got different parenting styles. We've got people that's been in the military, and they have that hard discipline, the way they raise their children. And then we have people that want to be the child's friend. Hey, that's my friend. Hi. So let's talk about this group. Who wants to be the first to share?
Now, don't all of us speak at one time.
Well, let me share how I think kids should be raised. Like I started out from the beginning, I think that the decision the father is the provider. He should be the one that kind of take the heavy lifting in making sure that all the bills and all the requirements are met. His job is to protect the family, to make sure that the life insurance and all these type of things are done. And then the wife, she has this is traditional. This is a little how I see it now. You guys can, when you get a chance, you can chime in. But this is how I see it. The wife, she's kind of like, if she's just a stay-at-home mom, she makes sure that the house and the groceries and all these type of things are run right. Now, if she works outside of the house also, then the husband would take on more of the chores and they'll kind of split those. And once again, the children have decisions. Children can make decisions about vacations and where you're going to go, and some of the things they do after school. That's the way I see it. Who else want to share? I heard somebody say something.
Marina said, I agree with that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I think we might call that the traditional way. I think that's traditionally how it was done. So how's it done today? How's it done in your household today? Okay, night gonna be a tough night. So we might. How's it done in your household, Glenda?
I make all the decisions in my house.
You must live alone.
Yes.
So okay, you get to make the decisions. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's very important how you do that, because sometimes I remember last week Andre was saying that he was raised by his stepfather, and said his stepfather made sure that everything was equal. He treated him as his stepfather treated Andre as if it was his natural son, biological son, which is the way it should be. Which is
Yes.
the way it should be. And what you say? What did Andre say? Oh, correct. Okay,
He said correct.
Andre's fast on that. So it makes a difference. I've seen times where people have come in a blended family where a male or a female come in, and they only treat their kids. They treat the kids that their biological kids different than they treat their spouse's kids, and I don't know why that's the case. Because once you marry into a family or a relationship blends in together, everybody should be on the same footing. Everything should be equal. But I've seen times when it's not.
Right.
And the children are the first one to see the difference. You'll be surprised how your children study you and study your relationship. And
I think it's so important for communication before you get into a blended family, that you need to discuss and make decisions before you get married and blend the family, because that's so important, is communication.
Absolutely.
On how you're going to do this,
Right.
Do we all agree that you put the children's needs before yours? Do we agree?
Within reason.
What do you mean, Glenda?
I mean, because some kids are very selfish when it comes to blended family. They, like I told you before, my sons could only see me and their father together. So anybody I tried to bring them around, whether it was 6 months after dating them into the relationship or a year later, they always caused issues within the relationship because they couldn't see me with anybody else but their father. But their dad was married, and they did not cause any issues with their dad and his new wife and their kids and that blended family. And I would ask them, well, what's the difference between me dating and your dad being married with other kids in the house? And you go there, a couple of times throughout the month. That's just my dad. I was like, that's not a good reason.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So it seems like the dad would get a pass, huh?
Yeah, he in my household, in my situation, he always got the pass. I caught all of the havoc from dating, and it just made dating for me, very hard. Till it got to the point where I was like, I just see you when I see you. But some kids are very selfish, even when it comes to blended families. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Now, I believe kids gonna always be kids.
Absolutely.
Kids always gonna want what they want. Kids, me, mine. It's almost like music. So kids are like that. So as an adult, we get to control. We get to be a referee with what's real and what's makeup for the kids. So when I say the kids should be important, that's what I'm saying, that their welfare and their safety and stuff should be that way. We don't have to always satisfy the kid. I understand that. That's what I was saying.
Okay, well, absolutely. The safety of the kids is always important because you don't want your kids to be molested or beat by, the other party. And then next thing you know, you're going through a custody battle, or, you got defects or child protective services coming into your home. Absolutely correct. I totally agree with you right there. But I would think that as mature adults, before you start to bring the kids and the other party and the other family members together, there has been some type of communication, some type of family outing to introduce each other to each other. I mean, definitely, you don't want your children in harm's way by any case, but I was just stating for myself, my kids were selfish.
Well, you brought up a very important thought. The way you said that, you talk about a runway before you and that male or the female and the male get together before they bring the kids involved. So it's a runway. It's a ramp up period before you bring the kids together, before you introduce a person into your relationship with your kids, whether you male or female. Let's talk about how that looks. Let's talk about that runway or that building up. How you gonna bring the kids? What's that conversation like? is that, let's say for instance, Glenda, me and you were to get a relationship, and I got 4 boys and you got 2 boys. And how would that look? I would say, hey, look, we're gonna get together. How would that conversation start about how we bring those kids on board?
Is that a Glenda question, or you open it
No,
to the
it's
board?
not. It's not a Glenda question.
Oh, okay.
Because the reason why I picked Glenda because our policy is that we won't ask you, the audience. The audience can get in for as much or little as you want. We're not gonna put any pressure on the audience. Now, some of our regulars, I will kind of, if they give me that nod, like they want to say something but just don't want to make that move, I will help them make that decision. But normally we won't ask you give us an answer.
But if you,
okay,
the floor is open.
Okay, so this is my first event. It was like double dutch. I was trying to get in there, but
go ahead, get in, girl.
I'm a little bit of a disciplinarian, and I've been kind of told this throughout my parenting times and everything or whatever. But I think that you have the parents, the adults, come together and have the conversation and set the rules first before you bring in the other bonus children or what have you, and then you roll it out to the children. I think really nowadays, because and I don't say don't give the children the opportunity to, have their input or what have you, but ultimately the parents set the tone for the household. And so together, when you're on one accord and you make the decision or determination and you stay together, then that I think it sets the tone for the children and how how they're going to interact. And one other thing, when we talked about the bonus children or the stepchildren being treated differently, I think that's what caused the divide in the household. I think it's the parents that come in and they set the tone, and then the children they don't have a choice. They're not bringing in a paycheck. They don't have a choice as to how the house is going to run, but they can have their input. But ultimately, the parents, I think, is who set the tone and enforces the rules.
Right, exactly.
Anybody want to chime in on that? Because the reason why I asked him to chime in on that, because I've seen times where kids have been the deal breaker. Kids says it ain't happening, and it didn't happen.
Right.
And I've seen times where the kid says it's not going to happen, but the person says, yes, it is going to happen. And then 3 years up the road or 2 years up the road, they break up because that same kid that said it ain't going to happen made it not happen.
Right.
And this is a very real story. A good friend of somebody want to say something?
No, go ahead. I'll talk after you talk.
Okay. A good friend of mine, he married a preacher. And it got so bad the third year, the children ran him away. And he was I thought he was a strong man, a strong provider. But he had to bow out.
Question then, did she have his back though? That's where the divide come in at. When you stand strong together, and then you set the rule.
She played the fence. She went both ways. She played between the fence. She was trying to have his back and have the child's back.
And that's where we have issue when we try to be our children's friend versus we give them the rules and set the rules down. Now, I was a divorced parent with 3 children, and I let them, to a certain extent, they would give me feedback, but then the bottom line was they knew who ruled the house. And so I see a lot. So I see that happening. And even when I go back even further, being a product of a blended family, my mother and my father were together, and he had 4 other children. And when they came in to divide, because they was angry because dad was no longer with mom, he put his foot down and was like, don't bring that in here, because if you're going to come in and with that kind of divide, then you won't come in. And it's like, right. I think we don't have that harsh stance anymore, and that's why we're getting the results that we're getting from our children running wild now. and they rule it. Now, how are you going to rule a household and you haven't brought a check in and you haven't done anything, but you're going to have the ability to rule? To me, that's the parents being their friend to the children instead of being a disciplinarian and the person that sets the structure of the family in the house.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead, Sharon. I think you were going to say something, Sharon.
Yes, I was. Okay, how I feel about the whole thing is with today's time and the kids being a lot more knowledgeable than we were when we was growing up, because see, people got to realize, even though the kids is not the adult or the grown person, but at certain ages you got to let know how that child feels about certain things, because different kids are different, all kids are different, and the kid is not allowed to like express themselves. And I ain't saying express themselves the way they want to. No, it's going to be a level of how you're going to do something, but we got to start listening to these kids too, because it may not be an interest of the child, like even with like outings and stuff like that. You got to hear their part of, we got to listen to these kids too. Now I agree with society today and these kids being so disrespectful and stuff. No, we're not going for that. But you got to start listening to these kids too, because it's teaching them to like be submissive or passive as they get older. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you got to really, it's based on the child's personality itself. But yes, a parent should be a parent. Of course, ain't no kids gonna tell me what to do, but we got to start listening to these kids too. Okay, that's what I feel.
Okay. Anybody else in the comments on this section? Okay, what Andre say? Andre normally has something good in the chat. What do you got in the chat, Glenda?
It's a time and a place for everything.
I guess that drop the mic right there. Boom. All right, go ahead. I think we can move on to the next one, Glenda. Next point.
Okay, the next key point tonight is allowing your adult son to stay home rent-free. Oh, okay, we got a little example here. Let's see what it's gonna take us. Let's see. Okay, wait a minute. Let me back up a little bit. The next one actually is navigating family decision. And the example is allowing your adult son to stay at home rent-free. So, like a decision of allowing your son to stay at home without contributing, is it helpful? That's a question. Or does it undermine family dynamics and relationship health? What are your thoughts on that? My son could not stay in my house rent-free. That's for me. Because when he gets out on his own, he may want me to cover his rent while he at his own house doing his own thing. And I don't make enough money to pay for 2 mortgages or 2 rents. So he would have to learn how to pay bills and be responsible for himself.
I think it's deeper than that. I think the reason why this is brought up, not so much that the child is staying rent free in the parent's house. And once again, I got to bring it back to some of the stats. 78% of African American children go home every day to a single parent household.
Right.
Every day. So with that being said, a lot of times, how is that child being raised? Since we're talking about, since this is a male, how is that male child being raised? And a large number of those 78% single households are run by single females.
Right.
So a woman, it's the head of the majority of them households. So how is that woman raising that boy to be a man child? I think this is what it's talking about. Because I'm sure a lot of us on this line have seen where grown men, or grown children, or grown men are home, and the mom is still taking care of the child, providing the groceries, providing the paycheck, going out and work, and where the child really isn't working. So I think that's the real question. And I've heard people say a woman can't teach a man how to teach a boy how to be a man. And I heard some people say a woman can do it. So that's a question that's on the table too. So 2 things we're talking about now: the child staying at the house, grown, the male child, and then can a woman raise a boy to be a man? That's what's on the table right now. Anybody want to tackle that?
I sure do.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay. I have two sons. I've raised them on my own the majority of their life. Well, my youngest one, all of his life. Okay, he still stays here. And I told my oldest one, you can stay here. You have to work. That is one of the caveats. You do have to work. Because if I'm getting up, going to work, you getting your rusty butt up too to go to work. Mm-hmm. And I told my oldest one, you can stay here until you pay your student loans off. Mm-hmm. He wanted to be big and bad and going out with the girlfriend and whatever. I said, all right, you make sure you can handle everything on your own because you're not coming back. And he left. And then you know what? He came back and said, Ma, I should have listened to you and just stayed a little while longer.
Oh.
But he never, he never has called me asking for nothing, no money, nothing. He's got it. He got 2 jobs and has maintained 2 jobs. My youngest one, now that's a work in progress, but he's younger and, he has some, like learning disabilities and what have you. So I'm working with him. And I find it mighty funny. Like a lot of guys, not that I've been talking to a lot of guys, but I have like a lot of guy friends and like guys that I've, been dating or whatever. They always have this one common phrase. You need to get him off the titty. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, I'm doing this, but then on the same note, they'll sit there and say, I really admire the way the relationship that you have with your kids and how they, act. But then, you want to offer all this other advice about what I'm doing wrong. But, my kids, my sons, like my oldest one, he's been with two women, all of his adult life. He's not out there sleeping with this one. This one is a long-term relationships. They both work over 40 hours a week. Mm-hmm. Neither one of them have any kids. Neither one of them have ever been arrested. Neither one of them have ever been in jail. But I look at all the other ones who have all this other stuff to say about this, that, and the third. And I find that they have all these problems with their son. How are you trying to give me advice and you can't even fix your own?
You should be commended for the job that you've done with
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Everybody is not as fortunate as you, Ava.
Because it seems like Ava, you took it apart and you gave that time they stayed at your house depending on you. You use that as a launching pin to get them to where they need to get to give them a leg up.
Correct.
You give them a leg up because a lot of times, as being African American, we don't give our kids a leg up. A lot of times, we say, 18, boy, you get the heck out of here. Right. You grown, you're on your own now, where a lot of times 18-year-old child is not really mature enough to be on his own.
Right.
Yeah.
We kick them out, and that's when they find the gangs or a woman to take them in or somebody take them in because we kicked them out a little too early. But when you actually invest the time and you make the child a priority and you give the child what they need to be successful, then you just really help them out for the rest of his life. And then, but the flip side of that, some women that's in those single parent households don't do that. For some reason, they treat their boy child different than they treat their daughter. They'll work the heck out of their daughter and give their son all kind of grace.
What?
I
haven't seen that.
Have anyone else other than me seen that?
Can you repeat that?
I've seen households where a single mother will have a son and a daughter, and she'll work the heck out of her daughter, and she'll give her son all kind of grace. Have anybody seen it other than me?
I can chime in on that.
Go ahead.
Who's that?
Okay, this is wellness coach Liz.
Okay, go ahead, wellness coach Liz.
Okay, so in my household when I was growing up, that was the climate. My brother, who is the youngest, but he was a product of the love child between my mother and her, and her new husband, basically. And he was forthright, and he could, I mean, she was so hard on me and my sister. And so, yeah, I've seen that happen. And I also wanted to chime in on a couple of other things that you just said about the young, about the young boy being at home, or mom still, young boy being at home. The one thing I wanted to say about that is I do believe in training a child up in the way that they should go. And I believe, and ladies, don't jump at me on this one. And I'm not saying that we cannot raise a son to be a strong male, responsible. Yes, we can. But there's a factor that a man gives to a boy, whether he gets it from his father or whether he gets it from a strong male role model. A man needs another man, because we as women cannot train him up to be a man. We can train him up in the responsibilities, and we can train him up in other ways. But and my son, who was a product of a divorced home, and I gave him all of those tools and all of the things that he needed. And in our adult conversations, the one thing that he missed and that he has been angry about is that he did not have that strong male or that male role model to show him how to be a male, because children do look at their parents and they model the behaviors of the adult. And so even in the fact with my daughter, when with her first son, and it was kind of different for me, she would have him, when he used to use the restroom, he would sit down, and I told her, well, put a Cheerio in the toilet and let him pee on the Cheerio or something, because you can't show him how to, you need to, he has to be able to still, pee like a man, basically, and not sit down on the toilet. So it's certain things that boys do get from men, and we as women, not taking anything from us, we don't know those things in order to impart that into the boys.
Okay. Can I say something? Okay.
Go ahead, Sherry. I know the
sorry. Okay. And now that I have mixed emotions about. A woman cannot raise a male child to be a man. I don't agree with people saying that they can't do that. Yes, they can. Because what is actually being a man? Everybody should grow up responsible and have responsibilities to their self, their life, or if they have a family. So being a man, if you're teaching them, if they're growing up in a decent environment where, like learning good values and stuff like that, what is the such thing as a man? That's just how I see it. So I feel a woman can raise a man child and he become a good.
But we're not saying that a woman can't raise a man child. We're saying that a woman is not a man. So just like a man is not a woman, there are certain things that are specific to being a man and specific to being a woman that we can't teach them. I mean, there are certain things that I couldn't teach my son. I mean, he's responsible, take care of his children, take care of his family, but out of his own mouth, he came back angry, because there's some things that me as a woman, responsible, professional, all of those things, God, like all those things, I can't teach him how to be a man. That's why it's important that men come together and spend that quality time together, because there's certain things that they have that they can impart into each other. And then there's certain things that we as women, we need other women, and that we impart into each other. So that's the way God made it, not that we made it that way.
Good evening. This is Annette. I think how are you all? Good. I think as far as a woman and having a male child in their home, I think a woman needs to look at the fact that this is a male child, it's not a girl child. So the guy should be raised as, what do you want from a man out there for yourself? Why would you raise your child any different than what you want to receive? I have a daughter now who's in her 20s, and she tells me, Mom, you don't understand, these guys out here, they still mama boys. They act like babies. They're not even acting like men. They're not acting like they want to take responsibilities or be a man. It seems like the girls are stronger than the guys. They're softer out here. I think women, we love our sons so as if they could be a man to us. And I think that's a problem. I think we need to be raising our male child or sons to be dependent. What Rufus said, before, like he thinks a man should be more or less the provider, the person that takes on the load to make certain that his household is going to make it. He's going to do what he got to do to make it. I think that's where we fail our sons. We're not pushing our sons in that direction. And even if we had a son at home, we're trying to help him to have a leg up. Okay, we'll help him to have a leg up. But what do we do and say, okay, son, don't pay this, don't give me this, don't give me that? Why not saying, okay, son, I'm with you for what you're trying to do, but you still stay here and you have a responsibility. So you still got to put something here on the table. And even if he leaves or get ready to go, you might have that set somewhere in a savings that you never use, that you could surprise him with a bonus when he get out there. Say, hey, I got your back.
Exactly.
You know, and he didn't even know, but he was being his man. He was growing. He was learning. I just think we can do it, but we got to do it structurally.
Yes.
That's my intake.
Do things in decent and in order.
Anyone else?
Good afternoon.
Go ahead.
All right, this is Ramona. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to chime in on, as we're talking about the young men. And I believe that it's a case-by-case basis. So just one case scenario I thought about. So let's say that your son desires to be a surgeon. Okay, most medical schools will require that really all you can do is just go to class. But, your son, may be living at home. It may be nearly impossible for him to meet the demands of what someone who, just desires to work a 9 to 5 versus someone who's aspiring to such a position. So I think in a case like that, there should be still a level of responsibility, but with a trade-off. So if you're in classes and then, you're studying and you're up 2:00 in the morning and, it may be nearly impossible really to hold a job. If the end goal is for that person to make something out of their life, at the end, you could break me off, after you making $600,000 a year. But I still think there should be some type of responsibility. Okay, you may not be able to work because your classes are demanding, but you will take out the trash, you will cut the grass, you will, there still has to be some level of responsibility. So I don't think it's necessarily just about a job per se. I think it's about teaching that young man to be responsible. And then in a case like that, it could be, okay, during the summer, you work at the grocery store or whatever. So all I'm saying is that I think that we can't just have a blanket to say, just because you have a son, he has to have a job. We have to take each individual child and what they're doing and where they are in their life, because I think it would be much more detrimental to a child psychologically if you didn't support them in their dreams. So that's my comment.
Nice.
Great point.
Very.
Now, see, when my sons were growing up, I had one that went to college. College is your job. Mm-hmm. And at your job, you're supposed to get your little A's and B's and don't be playing around. That's your job. Now, the youngest one, everybody is not meant to go to school. He's not one of those that's meant to go to school. You got to get a job.
Y'all have brought up some excellent points. And Ramona, that was awesome, because the trade-off is very important, because a lot of times we don't set our children up for success. We really don't. We don't realize that the child's whole life and career is in our hands. We do the best we can sometimes to feed them, to clothe them, to get them to school, and maybe little sports after that. But we don't look beyond that. So a lot of times we raise our kid day by day, week by week, and year by year, and it's sometimes a necessity. But if we can get ahead as a community and realize that our kids' potentials are unlimited, and we can invest the time in them now, because a lot of times, and the reason why we're having this Sunday night at 9, because a lot of times we kill ourselves with trying to be in a relationship, trying to chase somebody, chase this one and that one. And we use all our energy and resources up doing the chasing when there's so much more left than chasing. You know, we've got families, we've got responsibilities, we got careers. And if we understand the things like communication, like conflict resolution, like trust and all that, we can make this relationship stuff be super easy. Super easy. And that's why we do that. And that's one reason why we want to talk about the kids tonight. You guys brought up some excellent points. And Glenda, do we want to go to the next one, or we've got this part?
I mean, there's only one left.
Okay, let's cover that so we can have a few minutes before we let go and talk about some other things. Okay, but great job so far to this point. You guys are awesome, man. I'm glad this is being recorded because I'm gonna see this on YouTube. Trust me. All right, go ahead, Glenda.
Okay, promoting healthy male development is the third and final key point for tonight. What roles do mothers play in raising sons to become men who are future providers, leaders, and partners? So let's think about that. Cultivating potential providers and leaders. A single mother is concerned that she may be unintentionally holding her son back by being overly nurturing. She wonders how to strike a balance between supporting him and encouraging him to take on more responsibility, preparing him for future roles of a provider, partner, and father. So what's your feedback? Actually, I think we really touched on this already.
Yes.
Right. So, do anyone else have any feedback on that role? I mean, I think we hit all the points tonight, even before I gave the key points.
Yeah, because Ava gave the part that she gave the child a leg up, and then Ramona gave the responsibility that it's going to be situational based on the development of your child long term. So they covered that. Right. I think Sharon had some input that she felt that Sharon, I missed your point. I caught Raul's point. Say your point again. Because I think I missed your point, Sharon. I got Ramona's and I got Ava's point. And I got Annette's point. Annette's point was that her daughter said that they're mama's boys, that we're not doing a good job of making sure that the men are coming out being men and being providers. We're raising mama's boys coming from the single parents. So those three different types of scenarios: one, the mama's boy; second, the child that understands responsibility; and the third is that the parents work diligently to make sure that the child has what they need to go out. Because Ava said that her son went out a little earlier than he should have, and he came back and said, "Mama, you was right. It's rough out there. Them lions got teeth and claws." So it's a great time and I'm glad we're actually able to do this, because it takes a village to raise children. Because a lot of times, this is why they came out with a thing like Big Brothers, and I think the Boys and Girls Clubs and all of that, to give the additional help. And a lot of times, some of us have the benefit of having family close, living in a close vicinity of your grandparents and uncles and cousins and people that can help you raise your children. And you got to have great support systems. You can't do it alone, and especially if you're a single mom. If you're a single mom trying to struggle, and you've got to actually go out and work every day and make ends meet. And when you come home, you're so tired, and little Johnny or little Susie, they've been a latchkey kid, so it's a chore sometimes. It's a chore. So I commend you people on this line for what you're doing for children. I think Andre works in the school system. I think he's a truant officer or a truant department. And Andre, you can tell us a lot of stories about how children are being raised and what you're seeing. Can't you, Andre?
I could, but I might get in a lot of trouble.
We need you to stay employed, sir.
I'm not saying say it. I mean, you said it right. You said the way you answered it right. You could. You're right. and that just to testify that it's a lot of things out there that our kids are missing, and it starts with us. When we're talking about relationships, we're not just talking about relationships between a man and a woman, or a woman and a woman, and a man and a man. We're talking relationship that you have with your children too, because you love who you love. That's totally up to you. We're not trying to tell you who to love, but we're trying to tell you you have a responsibility for your children. So we're trying to tell you that, and that's what the night's about, is making you to realize the importance of your children in a relationship. Now, and the thing about it, you have your own report card. When you look at your children, you know whether you did a good job or a bad job, or you barely made it or you didn't. You know, the fruits in the pudding, or however they say that.
The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, however they say that. Okay, Glenda, I'm gonna turn it over to you, and then I think we're gonna show.
Go ahead.
Okay, now I'm still stuck on this boy child, girl child, a man can't raise a female, and vice versa. Because have anybody looked at the statistics on how many percent professional, successful, really big top people came from single households, whether it's a girl, a child, or a boy?
I haven't looked it up. Have anybody in the audience looked it up?
Yeah. I haven't looked it up, but I know every time them NBA and football players on TV, they say, "Hi, mom." I do know that.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it depends on, because it's, like I say, it doesn't. I mean, you got the World Society, you got counselors and professional people that help you also guide a child in the right direction on certain issues. But as far as a man can't teach. A woman can't teach a man to be a man. No, I'm still stuck on. I disagree with that. That's why I asked if anybody looked that up.
I was kind of waiting on that to come back up as well, because I'm kind of with you. But on the flip side of that, while I would love to say I could raise a young girl to be a mother or whatever, I really cannot tell her how she's feeling. So I give a perfect example. My little girl cousin, she was up under me for a long time as a child. We go to church every Sunday. Well, when she went through that change, while I would love to talk to her about that, I couldn't tell her how her body was feeling. I couldn't really speak to that. No more than, and I say this with tact, no more than a white man telling me how I'm supposed to feel looking at being a black person in America, or a black man in America. They could sympathize with me, and they could tell me what they would like to happen, but can they really model what is happening through what I see?
But I feel like on that level, like, white man teaches black man how to tell the black man how they should feel or whatever. That is totally way off the content of a person being a person's character. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know.
I think what we need to do, we might need to do a subject on what is like being a man, what it is thing to being a man, because there is a difference. And it's, even if you look at the Bible even, if you really want to get to the Bible, you can go in the Bible, and the Bible will spell it out, that what's the woman role and what the man role is. Right. And it makes it very simple and very clear. But what we need to do is do a topic on just that, so you can understand, because there are certain things that a woman have, a certain dynamic of a woman, a different dynamic of a man, and we're not going to be able to cover it tonight, because we're in the last 10 to 12 minutes, so we're not going to cover it tonight, but we can cover it in a topic, and have just a topic just on that, so we can talk about that, because there's a distinct difference.
Okay, but let me throw one thing out here. Now, when the Bible talk about Jesus being raised, Mary was more of an influential person in his life than his daddy was.
Well, we're not going to discuss that tonight.
I know, but I'm just throwing it out there, though.
Yeah, but we're not going to discuss that tonight. We're gonna come prepared for that. As a matter of fact, I tell you, Glenda, if you don't mind, can we deal with that next week? Can let that be the topic, if you don't mind, Glenda?
That's fine.
Yeah, and we'll deal with that, and we'll put we'll kind of what is a such thing as a man. We'll just leave that, use a title just that simple, and we'll bring it out. And all that research you want to talk about, Sharon, you can bring it then, because you had a question. Make sure that you get your answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. This is
Awesome. Awesome. So you can be a contributor next week. That's awesome.
Okay, I will.
What I want to do, Glenda, if you mind, can I get the talk about the video for our upcoming 2025?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I get Felicia to share the screen? Felicia, are you ready to share your screen? I can't see. Can you nod your head, Felicia, if you are? Okay. Now I just have to figure out how to get there. Okay, share. Okay, share screen. Okay. All right, Felicia, can you share it? Okay, one participant at a time. Can you share, Felicia? Did it let her share screen?
Looking to see how I can share it up.
It's a box at the bottom where it says share.
I see there it said, okay. It said the host has disabled it.
Okay, I'm gonna enable it now. Let me let you share. Okay, share. And guys, I'm sorry we taking long to do this, but I just wanted to let her give her that. All right, try now. Try now. Try now, Felicia.
Okay.
Did it work? Let you share now?
Let's see. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet. Not yet. Let me see what am I doing wrong? Okay, allow only multi-person show screen simultaneously. Let me see if that works.
It's still saying disabled.
Try it now. I just put multi on my side. Still not? Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. Let's see. Try one more thing.
See it now?
Gotcha.
Hold on. I'm still trying. And guys, I'm sorry for this, but I guess we're learning.
You can't click on the link that I sent you.
When did you send it to me?
Is this something that says due season?
No, that's the Carpenter screen.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, because that's what we see.
We're trying to see Felicia's screen.
I'm trying to get her screen. I'm trying to, and it said it should do it. I don't know why I'm not. Oh shoot! It said allow. I'm allowing it. You are sharing your screen.
Felicia, can you put the link in the? Okay, I see something. I see something.
That's you, Felicia. I think you're up now, Felicia. That's you. Go ahead, Felicia.
That's me.
That's you.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is our 2025 thing. We've got 2 events going up, and this is one we're coming up with the cruise. Go ahead, Linda. Go ahead, Felicia. I don't hear a sound.
The sound is on.
Can anybody hear the sound? Because I can't hear it.
I can't hear the sound.
I don't hear it either.
We don't hear the sound.
You don't hear the sound?
No.
No sound.
I hear it on my end.
And let's see if something on my end is stopping it. Let's see.
When she shares the video, there's a button that says also add sound.
Okay. Felicia, do you hear it? He said this video is always says add sound. And guys, so Felicia is a travel agent, and we're doing the on 2025. We're gonna do at sea. We're gonna do Sunday night at 9 at sea, and we're gonna do it at sea in the open sea on the Tonava Vista. And we're showing it to you now. We're just trying to tell you what we got.
Okay. Let's see now. See if you can hear it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
Now, can you post the conference, the 2020 the June conference, please? And here we got, this is our first conference. It'll be in Leesburg, Florida. It's on the 15th of June, the 14th of June. And here we're going to do that. We're going to have our first contest, our first relationship trivia contest, where we're going to give awards and trophies. So we've got a lot of things coming up within the next couple of weeks that we'll tell you about. We just want to get this one kicked off so you can see it, so you can start planning yourself for that. This 2025 is going to be an awesome time for us, but we're not waiting to 2025. We're kicking it off starting 1 October. So we just want to give you a preview of that. I appreciate it, Felicia. You can cut it off now. We can go back to doing what we're doing. Thanks, Felicia, for that. Let's give it back to Glenda. How can I get out of this? Stop sharing where it is. I guess it took us a long time to get on it, so it's going to take us a long time to get off it, huh? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't see the link. Is it a link that we can look at on our own about the cruise?
Yeah, it should be on you. We sent it already on your phone already. We sent it 2 weeks ago to you directly. We sent it to you directly.
Oh, okay.
You already have it.
Okay, resend it to me, Rufus, please. I probably won't.
Okay, but we just wanted to show you that because we're going to have an excellent 2025, but we're not going to wait for 2025. We're starting already. So 1 October is we're going to the website come alive, and you're going to start seeing a lot of fantastic things out of this. Okay, Glenda, turn it over to you.
Yvonne, did you have anything you wanted to share? I saw your light come on. Okay. All right. Well, tonight we had covered our 3 topics, our key points tonight, dealing with different parenting styles, navigating family decisions, and promoting healthy male development. So we had an awesome time tonight. I mean, this was 3 weeks on this topic, and we did an excellent job. As always, if there's any topic you want us to research and talk about, please don't hesitate to send us an email, reach out to me or Mr. Carpenter, and we will do the research to get the material together, discuss it on a future Sunday night at 9. But as always, I want you to join us every Sunday night at 9, and we want to explore other topics more in depth and learn from each other and empower yourself with tools to create healthier, happier relationships. And as you know, Mr. Carpenter has already stated we have some amazing things coming up in 2025, and we're not just waiting for 2025 to get here. We're kicking off things with the website, hopefully and prayerfully, October 1, 2024, making sure that everything has a green light. I try to tell him to stop letting them know in advance until we know that all the bugs and hiccups are taken care of. But as always, I thank you so much for sacrificing and, taking time out to be with us at 9 o'clock on Sunday nights. And if there's nothing else that needs to be said or any comments or feedback, Mr. Carpenter, you want to close us out?
Hey, it's been fun. It's been real. We thank you for showing up tonight. You are an amazing audience. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. So welcome aboard. Now, once again, this right here will be on YouTube Wednesday. We record on Sunday. We have YouTube on Wednesday. And also we do a Sunday night at 9 on Light Vision Network TV also. It's on TV there. And we do it on the radio broadcast. So there's a lot of, and we'll talk more about that after the first, but we're already there. Until next time, see you next week.
Good
night. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.